Okay, why back, folks? Because basically when satellite does a 180, because basically remember, and let me get this down for a fact for you real fast, that the idea that when I was at the end of the video, and then we're gonna go up to 400% on this, and you're gonna see this black object, because you can't miss it, and even when I go back out you're gonna notice it now. And the magnetical of it in the shadow of it is possibly the head of ISON or something huge, because no matter what, everything that you're seeing here is at an angle that the idea of factual, that's B all the way across. It's basically a laser point, but that's where B, because this is coming from A, okay, and what it did is it turned all the way around 180 degrees of a 360 pi, okay, of 360 pi, and then I'm going to bring this across so you can line up so we can find the magnetical line of this dark object here. Okay, I'll get right in the middle of the dark object, and what I'm pointing at is right there, and I can get all the way up 999. Come up the ladder, and what we figure to be ISON is right here, and it's got a huge head of something, because it's putting something no matter what, even if you say that it's not the shadow of that, and it's not Jupiter's shadow, okay, absolutely not Jupiter's shadow, because look at the luminosity of Jupiter there from this shot. It's gonna, if it was gonna give you a shadow, it would give you a shadow. This possibly, that black node that I showed you there, that when I went to 999 in the video before, and see when we come up, the brightness of the supergiants or ISON is so bright that it's almost like a flashlight. Check that out. You see that light contrast change like that? I didn't mean to go so fast. Now watch if I go slow. I go all the way down the darkness, right, and come up. Watch the brightness come into effect. Okay, so if anything, this is more than likely the shadow of Jupiter here. You can see how small Jupiter is, and it looks bigger because of the luminosity. Now remember, Venus looks huge because it's so close to the camera. Okay, now this was an unprecedented, well, not totally unprecedented, because we did have a shot earlier today of, I'm trying to get my, there we go, and I'm not highlighting that stuff, so we're having a little fun again. So it's actual factual that, you know, I can just go 400 again real fast, and I'm not trying to highlight that stuff, and don't care about that. We all know about SCADA, at least I do. So actual factual, and they don't like that remark, and that's not me doing that, but it doesn't really matter. So we come right in the center of that blob there, we come up, and there you go. And it's right dead on with what we figure, what I'm figuring pretty much should be ISON. There's something hella big and bright up there, because no matter what, the sun is over to the left and everything like that because of the rotation and everything like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to like 200, come out of here, take you to JPL, and remember that this is all today's shot, that basically they did a rotation on the 19th. Today's the 21st, I believe. Now when we go to JPL, you're going to see that basically nothing is supposed to be, and remember, when I'm showing you this, I won't tilt this or anything, I got a couple JPs set up here to basically remember, we're not going to see, because they have it at such an angle that you're not seeing anything of this other side of this line of the sun, okay? This line, this is the future where the sun's going to go, and this is where the sun has already came, okay? So when we're showing you this, there's nothing, you're only going to see Venus, and everything that's on this side, as I rotate this around and get Earth over there, the only thing you're going to see is Venus and Mars and everything. You're going to see this side of this dark yellow line of the sun, and I can line it up. You're only going to see, you're not going to see Earth in this shot at all, because basically you only see that they denote to you where Soho B is at in this shot, okay? So you only get, and then I take the zoom, you're only going to get to see what is on this side, the right side of the sun is all you're going to get to see. And as you can see here, as I bring it in, you can count, I'll get the line back, I didn't mean to hit, and we get Pluto, Neptune, and you can count all 9 planets, because they don't count Pluto anymore, but you count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's 9 planets. They only say that there's 8, but there's actually 9. And as we refine and we keep on finding more in actual factual, as we get this kind of an angle here, and I have another one already set up to show you where ISON should be, because it's to the left hand. When you're sitting on Earth, and I got to zoom in real fast to make you realize that, when you're sitting on Earth, ISON, every time you look up towards Jupiter, ISON is going to be on the left hand side of Jupiter, okay? And even if I take and go like this, you're going to realize when I zoom in, you're going to realize that ISON still has not passed. Now I got to use this and get over. ISON is still on the outside orbital plane of Jupiter right now. Okay, I'll bring it over and you get Jupiter there. Okay, so it's still on the, there's Jupiter. Okay, and then it's still on the outside of the plane. And then if I go like this, the future path and everything of ISON, what they have calculated and everything, and I'll take the zoom and I go out, I believe. No matter what you do, it's going to stay pretty much just like that coming in. It's going to stay to even when it leaves. You see what I'm saying? It's coming in now, coming into the sun now. Okay, I can take the zoom and zoom into the sun. Okay, it's going to come into the sun, and then when it leaves, when ISON leaves, it's going to go pretty much back, and it ain't going to go anywhere there could be planets. I haven't looked at the orbitational, I haven't played it forward, but no matter what, it'll go that side. What side it'll be of Jupiter, it doesn't really matter, but where's Jupiter sitting at right now, that ISON is just basically going to come in and go out. Okay, so what I'll factually take you to is 360 degrees when you're looking at satellites, and the only thing you can see, I hear Venus and Mars, because you're only going to be looking from a stereo. This is a satellite that shot's from. What they did is they normally are looking over here at Mercury and Earth and Saturn, which is not in this quadrant, but basically it's way out here somewhere. Okay, you could pretty much imagine that this would be Saturn, even though this is Earth on a 360 degrees plot. Okay, and then back over here you only have Mars and Mercury, but the factual that they have such a great beautiful shot on the 19th that they gave us here when they rotated over, because the sun is, they're sitting on top and over top of the sun. They rotated around to be able to not get the sun directly in the lens of the satellite. And no matter what, this more than likely, that spot that I showed you up here, there's a black spot, let me find it again, and it is more than likely just basically, I go like this and it's basically, there it is, it's up here, and I'll pop up to 400% and you'll see it pretty decently, and you'll also see the black blob here. So basically, more than likely, this is the shadow of Jupiter that's right there. And then I'll go 999 and let you see that this big dark head that's coming off, more than likely whatever, but this is what's basically. And we also, you might also, since it's closer to the camera, also possibly get like a shadow of Jupiter down here also. Okay, off the sunlight from the sun that's over here to the left. Okay, there's the big brightness that you see in the corner there, and you also see in there, and it's basically the sun is in a umbilical cord of stars throughout the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, and as you can see, you pretty much well, that's the node at the end of the satellite too, so you don't really know if that's a shadow that you're getting of Mars right there or not, but it possibly could be a shadow of Mars that you're getting right there. It's hard to tell, because this could be a shadow also of this object right here, because we know that shadows are the same size as their objects out there in space. But no matter what, what's interesting as hell is that right there, that we get that shadow there. And I can just customize, we'll go up to like 555. It takes a lot of time in the videos to put in the zoom in and stuff, but then I just want to make you, and you really can't miss it. And then if I go up, you'll see the light come into effect of the brightness up there, and then what we've got down there. Now, no matter what, we've got planetoid objects that are out here, out back behind Jupiter, because you got that magnetic line on that object there. Because like I've just showed you on JPL, you go back and look at any JPL or go look at anything, nothing should be, when you're looking at totally at this side of, when you're over looking at this side and looking all the way back over here, because Jupiter's way over here that you don't see in this, these are all satellites, okay, remember that. These are all satellites except for Mercury, Mars, Earth, and Venus, okay, and they're all denoted by colors here and everything like that, okay. So when you're looking at JPL or when everything you can look at, that when you're out there in space, if you zoom in, zooming out, there's nothing should be up behind Jupiter, okay. And this is a great shot that we get today, because they look where you're getting the field of view that you're only on this side of the sun, you don't get to see anything from over here, and you're just getting Venus and Mars and Jupiter and everything like that. So basically you have to realize that it's at an angle that I pretty much have set up when I was looking at the angle should pretty much be something like this, and then I can just zoom in and out on it, because basically what they give us is everything is on, they are shooting from, you only get everything from over here on this side that you really get to see, okay? You don't get to see anything on the left side, and then as I zoom out, you'll understand that basically all you're going to get is you're going to get, you're not even going to get Uranus. They would mark Uranus if they had Uranus in the shot, and they don't show Uranus. All they show is Venus. You get Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and you don't get Earth, because Earth is on the other side. I moved it a little bit, but basically Earth is on the other side of the sun because they have the sun to the left. So when you're looking at the shot, and then we see all these shadows and everything, and then I'll show you the magnetical on that dark object again as we come down at 555. I put the dark object, I got my pointer on it, I'll put it up against the border of the picture, and we'll come up. And what's spooking me, it's spooky, because basically it ends up being the head of this thing way the heck up, something that's way the heck up, because no matter what, that's that magnetical line, and it comes all the way down. Okay, it comes all the way down. You don't see it down in the lower part, but it matches up with that dark spot that's right there. So what's unusual and pain in the ass now is the idea that we don't get this shot every day. They did this rotation to more than likely see what they could see of pan stars, and I'll go at 999 real fast, and we'll get that black blob, because what I'll do is go 999, be able to come down the border, and we'll run right back into that black dark spot out in space. Now remember, it could be a star, and I'm going to have a little bit hard time, so I'll move a little bit right and see if I can get it. And then we follow it from looking up on top. And if I come over, maybe I messed up because on the blowing up. So we get on the magnetical line of it, and we'll come down. It should be in the middle of the dark spot, and that dark spot's right there at 999, because I can keep pointing, because if I take the magnifier out, it's just going to screw up. So we got a very dark something, a conglomeration of a bunch of dark, either sitting right there, or for somehow that it's basically a shadow from either down here in space somewhere, and basically not really, because this is the darkness of space down this way, except for that which is bleeding through. As you know, it's normally a blue border there. As you can see, it's bleeding through. So also it's starting to wonder what the shader, what they're blocking out, and then we get back over so we can see it, our dark object, as we come back up, and you can't miss it. It's right there. That dark object's right there. And I bring in that border again. I bring in the border on the side of the picture. We scroll up. And then remember, that's more than likely the shadow of Jupiter out there in space. And as I come down, you'll understand that, because there's Jupiter, and that's more than likely the shadow of it out there. And then, no matter what, we have something that's bleeding through all the way up here through. It's so bright, and it's got a magnetical line to it. That is a magnetical. That's a magnetical, and everything about we've been telling you. Now remember, this is ISON more than likely. Otherwise, no matter what, factually, I'm just getting down to hit the 999 because I'll pop in. We'll get in at like boom, 125. No matter what, when they rotated, they were wanting to take a look at ISON, okay, and pan stars also, okay. But you don't really see anything that could be pan stars in here at all, okay. So pan stars is more than likely, since it's up high behind the sun, and basically because I can just zoom and remember pan stars is up behind the sun, but it's tight in on the shot. You see how it's close to the angle of, and remember, I got to bring the angle of the sun all the way straight across, because they are up above the sun with the satellite. That pan stars is in really tight. So basically pan stars in that shot, and basically I'll go back to the 19th. So boom, boom, we're on the 19th. Pan stars should be directly in line with whatever we're seeing for whatever angle that we see the camera at. And remember, it's only shooting, it's not getting Earth or anything like that. It's only getting this side of the sun and everything like that. Earth's too tiny and dinky, but they do show us where stereo B would be at, so you realize that the idea they're farther over this way because they have stereo B marked. And remember, B is on the other side of the sun, completely on the other side of the sun, okay, because this is all coming from A. So as you know, pan stars is in tight left towards the sun, so it's in the shot directly above Mars. So factually, Mars, pan stars up over here, okay, and ISON is more than likely up over this way. So because this is not the sun, it's possibly part of the sun, but mostly pan stars, okay, because it was so big and bright. So factually, just giving you all the directions that we can, looking at this stuff out in space, because Pan Star should be somewhere up, you know,